'Cause we're always looking out for you. Always looking out for you. Always looking out for you. Always looking out for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. I did a little goof about a week ago, and I booked two wrestlers. So we've got CJ Evans, which we're going to talk to right now, and later on at 8:30, we're going to be talking to none other than Randy Wayne. So stick around; you get two for the price of one tonight. Mr. CJ Evans, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm really glad to be a part of y'all's show.
Man, I'm glad. Anybody that comes on this show makes me happy because I just love wrestling. I want to get everybody up there. I want to see everybody that I've interviewed, everybody that I put on my YouTube page. Man, I want to see you guys up in WWE, AEW. That's my goal, brother. I want to be able to tell everybody I interviewed so and he's a superstar. You're gonna be one of them. I guarantee it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Believe me, I definitely be awesome.
What's going on, Alex? Hope you're having a good day today. I love you, Frank Roof. No matter how many times you come on here and put me down, I still love you. All right. He's going to start right off. Who the heck is CJ Evans? CJ, tell me who you are, man.
All right, man. So I am CJ Evans. I am the human highlight reel, Mr. Main Event, the extreme icon, and the whole Evans show. Because let me just tell you, man, anytime I go into a show, I don't just go in there to entertain myself. I don't go in there to entertain my opponents. I go in there to entertain everybody. And my biggest thing is that when I go in there with the whole plan in my head to be the show. Like, I'm not going in there to be part of it. I'm going in to be the show. And so when it comes to CJ Evans, you'll know if you see me on a roster or you see me on the show, because when you see it, you're going to be like, that guy.
Frank Roof said, oh, my God, not another highlight reel. I'm out of here. Yeah,
hey,
he loves you.
Hey, man, look,
he loves you.
The important thing is that's why it's a highlight reel, because you can roll it back and replay it.
That's it, man. So how did you start off in wrestling, and who put you in there and showed you how to do your thing, man?
Well, honestly, man, I started out watching wrestling when I was a youngin'. I mean, I know you hear this a lot. Like, everybody says, when I was such and such years old, my grandpa took me such and such, or my grandma, or we was watching it at the house. For me, my biggest thing was, honestly, I didn't start watching wrestling until I was probably 8, 9, like old enough to actually start to comprehend what was going on. And it was before I had any kind of satellite or cable or anything. And we was just scrolling through the channels one night, and, we saw wrestling come on. And I was like, my mom told me, she was like, no, we ain't watching this. I was like, hold on. I want to see what's going on. And it was actually The Undertaker was on there. And that's what, I started seeing the different gimmicks and the different people. And I just started to fall in love with it. And that's when I started getting real into wrestling. And as time passed by, I started doing like everybody else did and went and started wrestling in the backyard and with all my buddies. And then as I got old enough.
Did you have a trampoline growing up?
Oh, yeah, man. We transformed that thing into a wrestling ring. We put 2x4s in. I mean, not 2x4s, like 4x4s in the ground, cemented in. We had a wire wrapped around them in a square running through garden hose. That's what we used as our ropes.
Oh,
I was doing it, and then when I started getting into the Hardys as I got older, I found out they did the same thing. Right. And I was like, that's awesome, because I didn't even plan that, but it just ended up working that way.
I think it's on WWE Network 365, I think is the name of the show, where they actually interview the Hardys and they show some of the backyard footage, man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome to see what they were doing back then, man. They were actually, they tell you don't do this at home, but I don't think the Hardy Boys actually listened, man. They were jumping off buildings onto that trampoline. They were actually like 10, 11, 12 years old and charging friends to come see their shows. I mean,
Yeah.
they were being bookers, promoters, and owners at the age of 10 or 11 or something like that. It was awesome.
And the thing that gets me, man, is you watch them and you just see like they literally started from the bottom and made it all the way to the top. And I was just like, I was doing the same thing.
Frank Roof said, I knew it, a backyarder. Hey, Frank, that's where some of the best wrestlers ever came from, baby. Don't ever say anything bad about them backyard wrestlers, man.
But see, this is where it really, the thing that I would say,
Zach Zulu said, Frank the Goof, remember to tell Mick Foley and the Hardy Boys they're ignorant too, right? That's what I'm saying. See?
hey,
I mean, some of the greatest came from the backyard. Go ahead, man.
but my biggest thing is that the best way I can put it, man, is like, as I started out doing the little stuff on the trampoline, growing up. When I got to about 13, 14 years old, right around in there, I started wrestling with a brand called Power Pro Wrestling. It was PPW.
Okay.
Actually based out of Carthage, North Carolina. And that was basically, Carthage was where the Hardys started. That's when they wrestled at the Moore County Fairgrounds and stuff like that. Yep. And basically what I did was I was 13, 14 years old. My mom had to go sign a waiver for me to wrestle because I wasn't 18 yet.
There you go.
And I was training, doing the actual professional part of it. And then I got hurt. And when I got hurt, I ended up tearing the cartilage in my right knee, and I had to have surgery and was on crutches for 3 months.
Wow.
But after that happened, I took the knowledge that I had learned, and after my leg healed, I continued to do my backyard stuff a little bit here and there, but I was implementing all the professional techniques into my backyard stuff. So even though I was a backyard wrestler, I was still doing lockups. I was still doing stuff with I made our own gimmick. We had, people, each person had their own gimmick. We worked each other, had titles, and it wasn't like, two people go out there and beat the crap out of each other with fluorescent tubes and stuff like that. We were doing actual wrestling, just doing it on a trampoline because we didn't have a wrestling ring.
Sam says he's still better.
Well, I'm just saying, how many highlights of mine are you in, Sam?
How many times did he make you look good, Sam? How many times?
He reffed a couple of my matches.
This is Frank and Zach going back and forth. He said, you better shut up, bro, you goof. And then Zach said, I ain't your bro, goof troop. This kid is actually a good worker, and I 100% agree with that.
See, Zach, me and you are going to get along just fine. I appreciate that.
Jackson Bones wants to know, is that how you do your training, or I'm pretty sure you don't do backyard wrestling now. What's your training now?
So basically, when I was in PPW, the two main people that trained me were Dick Foley, that was his ring name, and he claimed he was like a
wonder where he got that from.
Yeah, right. It was a spinoff of Mick Foley. But the one that I'm actually proud to say that helped train me was Tracy Caudill, and that was Trevor Lee's dad before he passed away. He helped train me when I was in PPW, and then after I got to the age which I could go back into wrestling and, I got my legs strengthened up and actually went back to professional wrestling, that's when I started with Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, APW, and I was trained under, just various people who come in there and did the shows. It was just like, I've trained under like Angels helped train me some, Justin Lee helped train me some, and then like Cade Seidel, he helped train me some. It's just different people throughout the business, that I've
and
met.
These are now see this is what I love to hear, because all these guys are wrestlers also who are trying to get themselves up there. So all you guys are basically training together and basically coming all up at the same time. Would that be a fair assessment? Yeah,
what we do is we will train together, but at the same time, we want to see each other self-improve as well.
Right.
I can learn stuff from a match without necessarily, I don't have to go and sit and talk to you for 10 minutes about, how, oh, well, me and such worked on this, and this. Like, no, I can get in a match with somebody, and then from how they progress themselves throughout the match, I can train. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I don't just train my body. I train my body. I train my mind. I train my spirit. I mean, I'm not just training for CJ Evans. I'm training to be a better person in general, not just a better wrestler.
Now this is when you know you're doing pretty good on an interview show, man. You got an owner saying AWC needs CJ Evans versus Cade Seidel. There you go.
Man, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is honest to God. This ain't no lie. Me and Cade have met in the ring before. Cade is one of the hardest opponents I have ever fought. But at the same time, it is also one of the, I would probably say, my top 3 favorite matches that I've had so far. I loved when me and Cade got in the ring because we got in there and blew the roof off of the building. It was insane.
That's what I'm talking about right there. You need to send me after we're over with this, man. Send me a few links to get to see some of your matches because I would sure love to watch them, brother.
Oh yeah, I will definitely.
I've had every wrestler I've ever had on here. That's one thing that I ask them to do, and I've never been disappointed. They send me some really great matches.
Oh yeah, I will definitely get.
Joshua wants to know what is the biggest stage you ever competed on?
Honestly, I would say out of the places I've worked, I would say the biggest I've done was probably the Moore County Fairgrounds show. And I will say that because to me, it wasn't just about how big it was. I mean, we had a lot of people there, but at the same time, it was the fact of it was a childhood dream of mine. Like growing up, we were talking about the Hardys. I wanted to be like Jeff Hardy growing up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to be Jeff and Matt. And to be able to go and wrestle somewhere in the same place that they wrestled, it was one of my milestones I wanted to reach. It was like basically as soon as I got to wrestle there, I was like, oh, we're going to check that off my list of things to do before I die. Because who doesn't be able to say, yeah, I wrestled at the Moore County Fairgrounds just like Matt and Jeff did.
No joke, man. That is awesome right there. Jackson Bones wants to know, where do you work now?
I'm currently under Ace Wrestling, which is Alternative Championship Entertainment, and we do everything from wrestling to music to games. They do a little bit of everything, and I know you had Joe on your show earlier, and he went into more details about it, but I'm on the wrestling aspect of it because once I left APW, I moved to Ace because I wanted to move and further my pro wrestling career and see where I could go with it.
It's not a bad place to be, brother. Look, let me tell you. I told you I'm not a bad guy. That's Angel Angels. And I'm going to have him pretty soon on #Truth.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be tuning into that episode, by the way. So, Angels, I'm just telling you, be ready.
Tyler said August 16th. Yep, I'm gonna be putting up the shows later on, Tyler. I haven't forgot. The poster will be put up on #Truth so everybody can see the information. They can pause it, while they're watching it on Facebook, or if they're watching it on #Truth before the date of the show, they can pause it and see all the information. Frank Roof said, for the ones who don't know me, I've been in the business for 32 years, and I like to get on here and rib the guys. I have spoken with several guys on the phone and have furthered their careers. I don't get on here to bash anyone. I'm willing to do what I can to help anyone out. Frank, that was probably the best written out self-promo I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean,
but we know, Frank, everybody here knows you're just ribbing on the guys, man. You're just one of the guys, and if they ever have questions, they know they can come to you. If not, I'm telling them right now they can come to you.
I'm just going to be the first one to say that if I can't, nobody should be a wrestler if you can't dish out what you take. You know what
That's
I mean?
it.
You shouldn't be going on here talking crap to all these other people in promos, and then the minute somebody give you some criticism, now it's like, oh, now my feelings are hurt. Like, no.
Now you want to pick up your ball and go home, right?
Like, get over yourself. It's like you want to step into that realm, okay? It goes full circle.
Here's another one, Tyler, that said Cade versus CJ.
Man, I'm telling you, you don't even understand.
We have another owner in the house. Woo, woo! Joseph, what's going on, man? Mr. Ace himself. Sam says, I want to beat CJ up. Uh-oh.
I'm going to say that there's probably a lot of people that want to, but I'm just saying you don't speak to the former North American champion that way. You know what that means, Sammy.
Joshua said, would love to see you come to EWF over there by our stomping grounds.
Hey man, just give me a shout on my Facebook page, CJ.
Here's the guy that would be giving you the shout. Joey Godfrey, another owner. Promo for other companies that you want to work for. There you go. They want to see a promo, brother. You ready?
All right, man. Let's roll them highlights. So let's do it like this. You ready? 5,
Do it.
4, 3, 2, 1. That is the sound of a highlight reel counting down to the main event of your show. Coming up soon, it'll be CJ Evans versus whoever needs to be on the roster, because you're not going to be paying the money to see them anyway. You're going to be paying to see the whole Evans show, CJ Evans. Anytime I step in the ring, it doesn't matter whether it's from high flying to ground game. I give every opponent of mine not just the effect that they need, but the effect the crowd needs. And on top of that, I will Pele kick anybody in the locker room I need to get where I want to go, and that's to the top.
That's what I'm talking about. And 3, 2, 1, you're out. Yeah, I love it, man. So I know you're wrestling for Ace, but if any other wrestling companies came calling, would you go?
Man, look, I'll tell you this. Anybody that hits me up can hit me up on my Facebook page, and we can try to schedule something about, I know I saw somebody go on earlier and said they would love to have Cade versus CJ at one of their shows. I mean, man, look, all I can tell you is that all you have to do is hit me up and then hit up Joe or hit up Cade. All of us have Facebook. You can hit us up and try to book us to come wrestle at your show. It's like we aren't above that, and we would love to help get our names out there as a whole. Not just for individuals, but as all of us, because in the end, we're all independent wrestlers and we want to go further where we can. There
you go, man. I love that answer. Man, can I interview you for about 4 more hours?
Hey, man. It's natural.
Who would you compare yourself and your ring style to?
Oh, Lord, man. All right, so funny story. I would have to say that my gimmick, I ain't going to say my gimmick. I'm going to say in-ring style. I've been compared to AJ Styles so much. Like, I've had so many people, either AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and I've even had a few people like throw random people out there. Like, I've had people compare me to Seth Rollins. I've had people compare me to Chris Jericho. I mean, I get a lot of, like flashy people because I'm the human highlight reel. So, of course, that gives it away. But definitely, in the end, I would say I compare myself to those people, but at the end, I'm my own person. I'm original. So, yes, you might see a move that AJ Styles does, but at the same time, it's not going to be AJ Styles in the ring. It's going to be CJ Evans. And as for the name, that was a coincidence. That, like, CJ Evans, that was just I got a whole different story about that.
Okay, we'll probably hit that up before you take off. Joseph said, "What's up, gentlemen? Sammy, my boy, keep talking and you might get what you want."
Oh, boy.
We might see Sammy and CJ. Watch out. I love it.
I promise you, look, you might be Sammy Love, buddy, but you ain't going to be loving that match when that's done.
So, how do you finish your opponent off, CJ Evans? Tell me about your finishing move.
All right, man.
Moves.
My finishing maneuver is called the double take. And that is because basically when you see it, I hook. It's a double, like, arm DDT, but it's swinging. So when I go, I stick my leg out and swing into the DDT with it. And I call it the double take because I'm taking both their arms before I drop them. It's kind of like the Future Shock DDT, but it's kind of a little bit of a different version. It's, it's a little bit more, I guess you would say, flashy than that. It's not just quick to the point. It's like I build up to it, boom. And that's it, man. Because when you see that move, not just is the fact of double taking their arms, it's the fact when you see it, you have to replay it back and be like, oh, God. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just killed him.
Joey Godfrey wants to know what's your size, brother, height and weight.
I am 165 pounds and 5'10". I'm basically, some people want to call me a high flyer, but I don't really classify myself as a high flyer. I do some high flying moves.
You're a middle cruiserweight.
Yeah, I'm more of a technical wrestler. Like, I do some high flying stuff, but I can also get it done with like my chain wrestling and stuff like that.
Okay, I see. So would you consider yourself more of like in a style of Dean Malenko?
I mean, I could see that when it comes to that, but the thing is I'm not a submission expert. I don't do as many submissions. I do more of like my moves are basically all flashy moves. Like I do a bunch of like
So you use your speed more than anything.
Yeah, I do a lot of like step up enziguris. I do that. I do a Pele kick. I do like the kind of like the AJ Styles Pele kick. I hit it full backflip. I don't do like the Finn Balor style. Like it's full rotation because I want it to roll just like a highlight reel. And then I've also got stuff when it comes to on the top rope. I do a frog splash. I do crossbody, and then I've been working on swantons and springboards here lately as well.
So Joshua wants to know, do you prefer high flying or the ground game more? Which one do you prefer more?
I would say out of my experience, I enjoy doing ground stuff more only because it seems like high flying usually ends up crashing and burning. Like I get a lot of people, like 9/10 of the wrestlers.
Bigger chance of getting hurt also.
Well, that's a given, but I mean at the same time it's wrestling, so you got to roll with that. But I always run into the fact of 9/10 of the people I fight are bigger than me. I mean I'm 165 pounds. I got to pop a big kick when I step up on your leg and smack you in the side of the face. I got to hit you pretty hard to drop you. I mean, but when I go for a crossbody off the top rope, you just go like this. And now we have CJ holding like this, and now I got to figure out. Now I have to change my whole strategy of how am I going to get out of this, and how am I going to end up back on top.
There you go. Angel wants to know, who would you want to step in the ring with one more time, and have you ever had a good rivalry before with anyone?
Oh Lord! All right, so I'm gonna have to say this, man. Me and Angels, I'm putting you on the spot, man. We had the best rivalry on APW. It was insane, and the build-up was perfect. Everything was hitting. I couldn't imagine a rivalry being that good or better. Like everything fell into place. His gimmick, my gimmick clashed. It was perfect. The crowd loved it. Every time we stepped in the ring, we popped like the place off. It was just, you saw CJ in one corner, you saw Angels in the other corner, and then the crowd was like instant highlight, instant main event. People wanted to see it. So I would have to say that when it comes to rivalry, definitely Angels. But when it comes to who would I want to step in the ring with one more time, one person would be Angels, because I want to get that final match. We never got to have that final match to kill it. We had it. I beat you, you beat me, it's tied. We need that third match. It needs to be the tiebreaker. But it would be Angels and it would be Cade, which I actually have some big news for that, because me and Cade will be stepping in the ring again on August 16th at Hope County High School in Rayford, North Carolina. And that is, I'm already excited about that. I'm already excited.
Man, that is going to be one heck of a match right there, boy. Let me tell you, making me want to go even more. Jackson Bone says, what is your favorite move to throw and move you haven't done that you want to do?
Okay, so my biggest move that I like to throw, one of them is a Pele kick, just because I can pull it out of anywhere. And it's like I can dodge a clothesline, boom, Pele. I can, roll out of the way, Pele. It's just so easy and so fun to hit. And the crowd goes crazy when you hit it, because a lot of people don't know what you're going for. But when it comes to a move that I haven't done and I want to learn to do, I'm wanting to say the actual technical term is called a B twist kick, but it looks like the kick that Will Ospreay does. The guy's on his hands and knees. Will Ospreay comes spinning out of the corner, does like a full double spin, and kicks him straight across the shoulder and the neck. And it's just like, I love that move, and it is so hard to try to learn, but I would love to do it if I could learn it.
There you go, man. That's what I'm talking about. Have you ever been in a match? And I think I've asked a few other wrestlers, have you ever been in a match? You're going through your moves, everything's going right, and then all of a sudden one move goes wrong. And have you ever froze in a match or had to change something up last minute? Or,
I'll tell you, like, funny thing is, me and Angels was in a match, and I hit him with something, and I can't even remember what I hit him with, but the way that he landed, and then he was on his hands and knees walking towards me. And I heard somebody in the crowd yell, "Curb stomp him, CJ. He's in the perfect place for a curb stomp." I hit them ropes and I curb stomped his face straight to the mat. Like,
and that wasn't part of the match. That
no,
was
I'm all about
great.
entertaining people, and a
That's
crowd.
what I'm talking about.
Somebody in the crowd wanted to curb stomp. Boy, they got a curb stomp that night.
You definitely got a pop from one fan in the audience. I'll tell you
He was
that.
like this. He was like, and he wasn't listening. I was like, man, that's my whole thing is to listen to y'all. Like, God,
Did you and Angel get in the back and go, oh my gosh, that was awesome?
The only thing Angels has told me about that to this day was he looked at me and he said, I still can't believe you hit me with that. And I said, well, I can't believe that, it just worked out as good as it did. And he said, well, I looked at your face, and as soon as I heard that guy in the crowd yell, curb stomp him, I knew that on the look on your face, it was
you knew it was coming.
He's like, there wasn't no getting away from it. That move was happening that night.
Angel says, all that's true, baby. All that's true. Oh, wow. So where are you going to be at in the near future other than Ace, man? I mean, I know you're going to be at Ace, but are you booked anywhere else?
I'm currently not booked anywhere else as of right now. I'm still in the process of, when I left APW and upgraded to Ace, I took some time off to work on myself and to get my body in a better shape and work on my gimmick and work on me as a person. And when I took that time off, I've been doing a lot of extra training. Like, I've been trying to hit the gym a lot. I've been, so I hadn't really been pursuing trying to get a lot of other bookings as of right now, because I was building myself up, because I didn't want to get booked somewhere else and it not be the best show possible, because that's my thing. I want to be the best show possible. Not just the show, but the whole Evans show. So
you talked about what is your training like right now? Do you go to the gym every day? Do you do cardio? Do you run? A lot of wrestlers I've had on here say, they work so hard at work that a lot of their, stuff they do at work is their workout.
Well, see, here's the thing with me, man. With me, my job, I have a lot of like exercise at work when it comes to, I would say between walking and running, I'm walking and running at least 10 miles a day, roughly. And that's at work for a 12-hour shift. When I get off work 4 days a week, I'm still going to the gym, working on cardio one day, working on cardio and arms another day, working on legs another day, then working on core. And core is actually something I've added my workout regimen lately, because I've noticed that I have to get better when it comes to, it's hard to hit those backflips and stuff the way you want to hit them when your body is basically saying, nah, I don't want to do it. You get halfway up and then fall down. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be like gymnastic quality backflips. We're trying to hit the prodigal of wrestling. Like, I'm trying to be, I don't want somebody to see me and say he's just another indie wrestler. I want him to say he's the indie wrestler.
There you go, man. So that's your gym routine and all that. What about in-ring training? How many times since you've left APW, how many times have you been in the ring actually perfecting, moves and things like that?
I've been in the ring. I've been trying to get in the ring besides my regular training in the gym. I've been trying to get in the ring at least 2 days a week and get in there and just work on, okay, these are moves that I want to do. These are moves that I don't want to do. And these are moves that I want to tweak to make them better. And a lot of people don't understand, but if you've come and seen me wrestle with APW, you need to come and watch this show for Ace coming up in August, because you need to see the new and improved CJ Evans. My move set is at least, I'd say 180 times different than what it used to be. I still hit some of the same moves, but I've added so many different moves and a variation and better stuff that you don't ever see before. And it's like, you want to see it now. So definitely you need to come see the new and improved, because if you thought I was good before, you ain't seen the deluxe edition. Like,
I like it. The deluxe edition. So of all the wrestlers that, you said you guys are training together and working together, besides yourself, because I know your answer will be yourself, besides yourself, who else do you see that has got that it factor that you know in your heart should be making it to the next level?
I'm going to be honest, man, and I'm going to have to go out here and say Cade Side, because I mean, not just because me and him are going to be stepping in the ring again, but because by the experience of knowing him in the ring and being in the ring with him, I can see it. He can walk in a building and change the momentum. He can change the feel. Like you can see when the fans in the crowd, how they light up and how they act with him. And he doesn't even have to say anything. He can just show up and boom. Now, okay, the crowd's ready to go. It's warmed up. Let's put on this great match. And so I'd have to say Cade Seidel, man. That's one reason why I love working with him.
Joey Godfrey wants to know, who's the most famous person you have wrestled?
Well, I'm going to be honest, man. I haven't really wrestled any big name people. Like, I've only been doing the actual professional side of it for close to 2 years. Like, when it comes to actual put on matches in front of people doing, actual indie shows, it's been like a couple years. But I did wrestle a match when I told you I wrestled at the fairgrounds earlier. When I did my show at the fairgrounds, I was told by the promoter after the match I put on that Jeff Hardy was in the crowd and that he had come up to him and said that we put on a good match and that he enjoyed it. So that, of course, warmed me. I was like,
wow, that's big time right there.
Yeah, and I was like, God, I wished I would have seen him because I'm like, Jeff Hardy, he's such a great guy. And I've met him in person. And so to hear him say that about one of my matches, I was like, that really gives me hope. It gives me strive to continue to work harder and be better.
Yeah, you mentioned Jeff Hardy a lot, man. I'm going to tell you the best part of Jeff Hardy for me, and that is when he created Willow. That when he did Willow and that gimmick and everything and the music and all that, when they set that up, oh my gosh, man. It just I use the phrase all the time, get me invested, and wow. You couldn't help but love that, man. Yeah. I was hoping he'd bring that back in WWE, but I'm afraid to see it because they'll probably mess it up like they did his brother's his brother's gimmick. Yeah, they made him Woken, which I thought was totally retarded. But
hey man, I looked at it like when I saw Matt do that, I was like, it's different. And I like it to an extent. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with it. Like 1 minute, it's awesome. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's so original. And I love it. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like Jeff Hardy sat down and said, okay, here's your gimmick. We're going to change this. Okay, now you're basically like a different version of me. Like, I mean, I also was a big fan of the Mattitude era. Like, I loved when Mattitude was going on. Like,
version 1, version 2.
Yeah.
I love those.
It was different at the time, and it was just, you could see it. Like I felt like it was good, but at the same time, I still to this day don't feel like that Matt ever really outshined Jeff. Like I feel like Matt reached a peak in his career and stayed at it, but I feel like Jeff reached that peak.
Now, if WWE would have allowed Matt to keep his original gimmick, if the other company wouldn't have sucked the life out of that gimmick and not let WWE have it, if he would have came in with the original gimmick and they would have gave him, the space to do what he wanted to do like the other place did, he would have blew the roof off of WWE, man. But they ruined the gimmick. But he had everybody turning from WWE to watch the other company to watch him do his gimmick. It was that original. It was that different. And it was just fun to watch, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was different.
Wesley Lefford said, who? You got to give me something other than just who. We talked about a lot of things, Wesley. Who, what?
I mean, hey.
Sometimes we just get the questions that I just don't understand, but I got to put them up there.
It's like, I mean, I can rewind it for you if you need me to, but I'm CJ Evans, the human highlight reel, Mr. Main Event, the Extreme Icon, the whole Evans show. I could continue, but then what would leave you in suspense? And you just need to come see it, man. Come see me wrestle and come talk to me afterwards.
Angel says, my final question. Oh, come on, Angel. Stick around, man. Have some fun. Ask a ton of more. You got more questions. He said, my final question. Who would win, CJ versus Big Tat, and how would you ground them?
All right, man. So me and Big Tat, we got a little bit of a history. there was times where me and Tat was in the ring against each other, times where me and Tat were partners, like we were tag team partners for a while. We did that thing. We've been against each other. But I would say when it comes to CJ Evans versus Big Tat, I'm not even going to go into the details of who would necessarily win. I'm just going to let history, speak for itself. CJ Evans and Big Tat have stepped in the ring together 3 times. 2 of these 3 times, CJ Evans has won. Because the first time was my very first match was against Big Tat. Tat is 320 pounds. I'm 165. What do you think happened? I wasn't the human highlight reel yet. We were more of like a blooper reel. And I got my tail handed to me bad. Like I got obliterated. It was a squash by hands down. But the second time we stepped in the ring was at the Moore County Fairgrounds. And after I had already learned from Tat and seen how his style was, I waited till the minute he come charging at me, ducked out of the way. He goes into the ring post, roll him up, and got the win. Because it's not always about how you win. It's just about winning. So I won. I walked away. He took it like a champ. He was like, okay, you got me. So then we step in the ring a third time, which was me, Tat, and Angels in a triple threat match for the North American Championship. And I walked away with that title that night. And Big Tat was actually the one that I pinned. Am I going to say it was luck? No, it wasn't luck. It was skill. It was skill. Yes, Tat was only one of 3 people in the match. But Tat was the one that I reversed his finisher into my finisher and pinned. Angels was already down. He wasn't breaking it up. I walked away with that North American Championship. So to answer your question, Angels, I think I'm not going to say CJ would win. I'm not going to say Tat would win. I'm going to say, what does history say? If we roll back the highlights and we check the credits, what does it say? That's it.
It says CJ Evans won 2 out of 3. That's what it says.
And then if you look at it that way, CJ beat a triple threat match. It was a triple threat match for the third one. So it's like, not only did I beat Tat, I beat Angels. Come on, give me a little credit for a 165-pound dude. And then he wanted to say, how would I ground him? The same way I ground every opponent. Step up Enzi to the face, Pele to the face, whatever I need to. I might not be big in the arms, but man, my legs, when you step up on somebody and kick them in the face, how are you going to counter that?
That's it. Joey Godfrey said, look, Wesley, Scott's boy, Austin Jordan is watching. Well, if Austin Jordan, Mr. Two Belts, is watching, thank you very much for being here, Austin Jordan. I've interviewed him a couple of times. I don't know if you know who Austin Jordan is, but he is the 3-count and EWF heavyweight champion. And if he's watching, I must be doing something right, Joey?
Hey, look, you bring me on your show one time, and look what happened. One time.
That's it. All the big boys are starting to watch. Randy wants to know, what is your favorite wrestling match of all time? It could be one of your matches. It could be a match you've watched. What is your favorite wrestling match?
Well, you know what? I'm actually going to step aside from being so conceited a little bit. Just a little bit.
No!
I'm not going to name one of my matches. I'm going to name one of my favorite wrestling matches of like actual, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, stuff like that. I love anytime The Rock and Stone Cold stepped in the ring together. I know that's basic, but they put on amazing matches. It was so much charisma, so much adrenaline, so much electricity that you couldn't not like that match. But I also love, if you go like more to the indie side, I loved watching Ricochet put on matches with Will Ospreay. I also love to see Flip Gordon's match. And then if you go back and roll it back, I also love when Chris Jericho won from, beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night. Like, who doesn't love that?
That was epic.
Yeah.
That was epic.
So that's just a few of my favorites. I have a bunch, but that is definitely a few of my top favorites.
That's me. I could probably name 20 or 30 matches if I sat down and thought about it, but my favorite match of all time, I've said it before, will always be the Hell in a Cell with Mankind and The Undertaker. There's no match that ever had me at the edge of my seat from the first gong all the way to the last bell, man. It was
I would also have to say,
I'll never forget it.
throwing in one more of my favorites just for you, Randy. This one's for you. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 24.
It was
Booyah, man.
It was amazing. Like, I was sitting here like this the whole match. I was like, you couldn't, it was like, what's going on? Like,
Everybody in the world thought that Shawn Michaels was finally going to break the streak. Everybody thought that Shawn Michaels was going to break the streak that night. He came that close.
that close.
That close. Angel said, calm down, CJ. You know what happened last time you tasted my knee, but I'm still proud of you. Oh, wow.
I mean, I'll be the first one to say that knee of Angels, though, that's a lethal, definitely a lethal move. And trust me, when I've had the spit knocked out of my mouth with it, it's rough. It's rough. And he hit me. I don't even know how one time he hit me with it, but boy, he caught me. He was trying to lift me up for a suplex, and like I started wiggling out of it, and he come down, boy. He dropped me into that knee, Angels. It not like I tried to walk it off, and if you watch the match, I just go like and like fall down because it's like I had no idea. I was like, wait a minute, like let me replay that highlight. Let me rewind that one.
Let me rewind that one. I didn't quite catch where that one was coming from. Randy Carpenter, I believe he's talking about your Shawn Michaels match. I love that match. My favorite match also.
I'm telling you, it touches me when I see that match because that, it was just so much emotion in it. It was like, it was basically getting to see the same style when it comes to Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, when he wrestled. That it was a lot like that, but at the same time, it wasn't sad. You know what I'm saying? When you saw Undertaker win, you wasn't upset. But at the same time,
it was like a 30-40 minute storytelling, awesome match. And that's the kind of matches that, fans like myself want to be, here's my word again, take another drink, invested in. There you go. I love matches like that, man. When you tell a story, when these two hated each other going in, you knew they hated each other going in. The Undertaker did his, normal 4 or 5 moves that he does in every match, but it was awesome because then on the other side you had Shawn Michaels who did his, 3 or 4 moves that he did every match, but they added so many layers on top of that that it made it such a great match. And nobody, I guarantee you, when that match was going on at that WrestleMania, the bathrooms were empty, brother. I guarantee you. If they weren't, you're an idiot.
I'm telling you. I would hate to be the guy to say, I went and saw Shawn Michaels and Undertaker wrestle live, but I didn't see what happened all the way because I had to pee. Like,
right? I had to wait till I got home to watch it on the network.
If that was me, boy, I tell you what, I wouldn't tell it. I wouldn't tell it. If it was me, it's like, oh my God, and just lie.
Right? No doubt. I just got a message from Randy saying that he is ready for tonight. If you guys haven't already heard, I double booked tonight. Thank God I double booked a good ways apart. We have CJ Evans with us right now for the next about 30 minutes if we go that long. And then at 8:30, I will have Randy Wayne coming on. So one of my goofs, but thank God both of these guys booked at separate times. Thank you again, CJ Evans, for coming on, man. It's always gold when I have somebody of your caliber on the other mic and lighten it up, man. People been talking, people are asking questions. That's what #Truth is all about, man.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, I told a lot of people tonight that I was going on because this was it's not my first interview, but it is one of my more important interviews that was actually a time thing where it's like, I actually get to go on this, have a decent amount of time to answer questions. And I told people, I was like, look, get on there. Ask me personal questions. Ask me, how did you come up with CJ Evans? Ask me all this other stuff. I will tell you the backstory behind my stuff, but at the same time, you have to ask it. I can't just come up here and say, well, today's topic is this. This ain't Sesame Street. This is #truth. So if you want to know the truth,
you want to know the truth, come on here and ask the questions. That's the way I've got it laid out, and that's the way I love it, man. Let me ask you something, CJ. We got some more questions coming in. While I'm asking this question and he's answering, you all throw some some more questions up here. What is the craziest thing you have ever seen at a wrestling show? It might not even be your match. What is the craziest thing you've ever seen at a wrestling match that made you just stop everything you were doing and your jaw just drop?
2 different times that I saw this happen was back when I was a kid and I was going to the PPW shows. I saw a guy get, like, he was in the crowd coming out doing a run out entrance, and somebody decked him in the face with a chair, and I saw him get busted open straight down the forehead from the chair, and he ended up getting like 12 staples. I saw that live, and that was insane because that was
from an audience member, not a wrestler, from an audience member.
I saw it. I was in the audience watching it. I was right beside him when he got hit, and as soon as he got hit, busted open. I don't know if it hit him like the way it hit him or whatever. Blood started gushing down, and I asked him about it later. He said he ended up getting like 12 staples. But then the second time I saw something, I didn't actually see this live, but I saw Big Tat go in a match, and it was a stretcher match. And I counted because I went back and watched the footage, and he ended up taking, I'm wanting to say, 35-ish different weapon shots throughout that match. Like I saw him get hit with a chair.
Now you're talking different parts of the body, right? Not just to the head. You're talking about like 35 shots total.
I saw him get hit in the arm, the leg, the chest, the back, the face, the back of the head.
Wow.
It was like 35 different hits between different weapons throughout the match. And then finally, the last thing that put him away was a chair shot to the face. It busted him open, and they laid him on the stretcher, and that was it. But at the same time, he took 35 shots.
Wow.
Throughout the match.
I couldn't even imagine that. Speaking of favorite match you've ever worked, there's the big man himself asking you. Big Tat.
Let's see. One of my favorite matches, I have a tie. Well, no, yeah, there's a 3-way tie. My first favorite match that I worked was the Moore County Fairgrounds show against Big Tat, because that was, like I said, I got to check it off my checklist of things to do before I die. I got to wrestle him at the Moore County Fairgrounds, and I loved it. There were so many people. They loved the match. Jeff Hardy saw it.
What's the biggest crowd you've ever wrestled in front of? That's a fair question, since you're talking about the fair and a lot of people. What's the biggest one you've ever wrestled in front of?
That fairground show was the biggest. It was I don't know exactly how many people were there, but I do know that there were so many people around the ring all the way around. Except the entrance was here. We had people here all the way this way going to the side of the entrance. But there were so many people there that they didn't even have seats to sit in. Like, they were standing up watching us come out. The minute we went out of the ring, the crowd was literally of like 5 foot from us, and I just went out.
So it'd be a good thing to say there was 500 plus there.
I would say they was around that. Like, I don't know exactly how many.
That's a good size audience for a wrestling for an Indies wrestling match. I mean,
yeah,
somebody worked hard to get somebody there.
And then the second match that was a tie with it would be when I won the North American Championship, the 3-way, triple threat match, me, Angels, and Tat. That was one of my favorites, only because it was my first title win, and it was really a big thing for me because those 2 guys were great workers, and I loved getting in the ring with them and popping the crowd. And then the third tie would definitely be me and Cade, obviously, just because the one-on-one action between me and him, it was like we were superheroes squaring off. It literally.
Man, I would have loved to see something like that. Big Tat said he's honored that you said that about him.
No problem, man.
Wendy wants to know who's your biggest fans.
I'm gonna be basic here. My biggest fans are always my girlfriend and my mom. It's always, they come to all my shows. They've watched all my shows. They are definitely my biggest fans, but actually, besides family, of course, my biggest fans would be the people that I wrestled with over in Rockingham at APW. Those guys and with the men and women that came to those matches every single Saturday that I was on the match card to see me wrestle, they were my biggest fans besides family.
Now I've got to ask you. You mentioned mom, so I'm always gonna ask this question. How many times has your mom or your girlfriend looked at you and said, "Are you nuts?"
Oh my God! Like we don't got look. We could have a whole show on that by itself. Like I mean, I've been told like some of the moves that I've hit was like after the match, like, so are you stupid or just crazy? So I mean that's a bunch. Let's put it,
That's when you know you did your show right. That's when you know you hit the highlight reel, brother, right there. When you get off, when you go home and you walk in the door and the first thing your mom says is, "Are you stupid or are you crazy?" You know you did your show right. That's it.
Yeah, I get to step on the line here a little bit. I do have one little benefit. My girlfriend is an athletic trainer. So when I get hurt and, beat up, the first person I'm going to is her. And she's like, well, you did this, this, and this. And I'm like, English, please. I'm still tired. And then she's like, you did this, like very basic, simple. And I'm like, okay, how do I fix this? And then she has to go into the details of, well, you need to wrap it up this way, or you need to apply this much ice, or you need to take this much time to rest. And I'm like, I don't have time to rest. I got a show in a couple weeks. Like,
brother, I feel you. My wife's a CNA. She's the same way, man. Any little ache and pain I got, she knows exactly how to cure it, brother. So, yeah, I got you.
That's how it rolls too, man.
Love watching CJ Evans. Awesome skill and dedication.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Ring Brothers are dropping a new video at 5 tomorrow morning. Get ready. If you've never seen the Ring Brothers, you are in for a treat. Check out Jamie Lee on his page, the Ring Brothers. There are 3 of them. And they had their last video, I believe, had something to do with the lighting or something like that. It was hilarious. It had me in stitches. So go check out Jamie Lee and the Ring Brothers. I also had an interview with them. This would be a perfect time for me to queue up my YouTube page. All my interviews you see on #Truth is over on my YouTube page. The Ring Brothers, CJ will be on there tomorrow. I keep all these interviews up for about 12, 18 hours, and then I switch them over to my YouTube page. So go to #Truth YouTube page, subscribe, and don't miss any of the interviews I do. They will always be there for eternity. And thank you very much for supporting #Truth.
And I'll definitely go check that out.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Again, he said he's honored. But he still wants another match. Big Tat said he still wants another match. He's not done with you, man.
Look, man, I'll tell you this. My main focus right now is coming up on the 16th. What happens after the 16th, we will talk about after the 16th. But right now, I have to keep my mind squared and set on this match against Cade, because if I want to walk away with my hand held high, it's a different beast. You got to be in it. You got to be in the zone. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Like, for these past 3 or 4 weeks has been nothing but better yourself, better your mind, better your spirit. And
you've got to show everybody that you're the it. I'm going to kind of use another phrase that's not yours, but you got to show everybody you're the it factor, because Ace, this is their very first show, which means more than likely there's no belts yet. So until they get belts, you have to be on your A game to keep winning. And when they do come up and say, hey, we got this heavyweight belt, we're coming up, you can look up and go, hey, Ace, I've won my first 3 matches. I should be in that match.
And I mean, you want this face. Like, you want this face.
That's what I'm talking about.
You want it on the belt. And more importantly, you want the crowd to see it.
That's going to be the face that runs Ace, right?
Hey, I mean, you said it, not me. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say it. I ain't scared. Joey can come get me. Joseph can come get me. That's okay. I ain't scared. I'll say it. What if Big Tat makes a surprise pop-up on the 16th?
Well, I'm just going to say this. As long as it ain't that pop-up power bomb that he does, I'm okay with it. If you want to show up, man, by all means, you can show up. I'm going to show off. But I mean,
are you telling them show up by buying a ticket, right?
Hey. See, the thing is with Tat is that you don't ever know. He might buy a ticket and he might jump the barricade. We don't ever know how Tat works. That Tat's he's got his own mindset on different things. But don't be messing up my match.
Would Big Tat jump? Come on now. Would Big Tat jump a barricade? I don't think he'd do something like that.
Hey.
That's kind of on the lowdown, man. Are you saying he's a bad guy?
Man, look, I'm not gonna say he's a bad guy. I'm just gonna say that you got to watch him because me and him, like I said, we've worked against each other in the ring and we've worked side by side in the ring. But I also know I haven't forgot when me and Tat were tag team partners and he got mad at me for stealing the spotlight. I'm like, well, what did you expect? Like, how are you not? You know what I'm saying? He's a great worker. He's a good person, and I enjoy being with him in the ring. But my gimmick is being the show, so I'm gonna be the show. The whole
Dude, show us that cup. Show us that cup. I got to see that cup up. Awesome. Gotta love it, man. I love it. Can you drink out of the weapon over there, or is that a handle?
That's just the handle, man.
Oh, man,
But
that's so awesome, though.
A lot of people don't know that about me, but I'm a huge, like, old-style slasher fan. I love Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween stuff.
You would
And
get along so well in this house. We are a horror film house in this house, man. My favorite series is Saw. I love the Saw series, brother.
I especially like the last one. The last one was definitely.
Oh, Jigsaw was the bomb, man. I hope they keep it going. I hope somebody becomes a new Jigsaw and keeps that thing going because I not only do I like hack and slash, but I like the suspense and the thrill that they put into the Saw. Uh-oh. I got made that your spot stealing cost. I think you meant mad. I got mad that your spot stealing cost us that match.
Well, I'm gonna say this on that part. I will meet you halfway, and I'll say yes. Sometimes I may get a little carried away, just about that much. But in the same respect, how many times has still in the spotlight won me the match? So I'm going to meet you halfway and say, if we ever got back in the ring in the same corner again, I can focus myself to where we will make sure that the spotlight is stolen on us. And we'll
be careful. There's shadows behind you. It look like a knife. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Behind you. I'm serious. Behind you. There were shadows on the wall. I don't know who was behind you, but think you were getting attacked.
Hey, maybe my place is haunted. I don't know.
It's all good, brother. It is all good. You talked about singles matches. How many tag team matches have you been in your young career? And do you like two-part question? And do you like singles better than tag teaming?
I will say I have been in roughly 5 tag team matches. Not a lot, because of the fact that I love doing singles matches. Like it's basically in the same thing of what Tat said earlier. I love stealing the show and being in the spotlight, and it's hard for me to want to share that with somebody else because with me being a littler guy, I pushed myself to get that entertainment factor that you need and want to see. And my thing is that I love being singles, being in singles matches. It's to me, it's easier for me. Plus, you only have to focus on one person. I'm not trying to beat you and your partner. I'm trying to beat you. So I can play a game plan against you, not, well, you do this move, and this move, but you do this move and this move and this move. So how am I supposed to make my strategy and game plan for that? So definitely singles matches.
Playing devil's advocate here, what if there was another wrestler, another highlight reel with the same kind of moves that you got? I won't say as good because they'll never be as good as the human highlight reel, but almost as good as CJ Evans, and he wants to tag with you, and, it could make liquid gold. What would you say to something like that?
I'm just going to say this. This is going to sound conceited. If I find somebody that is as good as me when it comes to being the highlight reel, and you are the same level that I am, and you can do what I can do, I'm not going to be opposed to tagging with you. Like, if we can go together and pop the crowd the same way that I can singly, then hell yeah, let's pop it. Let's roll it.
Big Tat said, I'm off of here. Got to focus on getting my North American title back. I feel so bad for Big Tat. The night before I did an interview with him, then the very next night he lost his North American Championship belt, man. Good luck with that. I hope you do get it back, and thanks a lot for coming by and spending some time with us at #Truth, brother. You're welcome anytime. You know that.
I would say that's a little ironic for me to hear that because I lost the North American title and didn't lose it in a match. So, I mean,
Okay, there's a story there. What happened?
Okay. Hold on. Let me put my cup down. This is important. So, once upon a time, in a land far away, about an hour and 15 minutes from my house, we had a brand called Adrenaline Pro Wrestling. And I started on that brand. That was my first independent brand I was on. I started from the bottom and worked all the way up to main events. And long story short, I got to the point where I told you earlier, I won the North American Championship. I was on the top of my game that I thought. And I was going through every person I got in the ring with. It was CJ Evans after the match. Still held high, still champion. I'd held the title for roughly 6 months. Yeah, probably roughly 5-6 months. I was holding it. And next thing I know, we had a big falling out, and I still stand up to this. I call it the Rockingham screw job, man. I'm not ripping off, WWE, but it was a screw job. I went in there. I had matches planned so many months in advance. Like, I was supposed to go against, people. They already had me set. I was going to be on the show. I was going to be the show. And the thing that happened was, long story short, me and the promoter had a big falling out, and I'm not going to go into details about it, but we had a big falling out, and he basically, I think he was mad that I was as popular as I was, and he didn't necessarily agree with what I wanted. And, I mean, we'll just say this. I wanted money, and I wasn't getting paid. And
Okay.
I'm not going to be packing your shows and doing all this and not getting paid. So when we had the big falling out.
Now, when you say not getting paid, is it you weren't getting paid enough or you wasn't getting paid at all?
I wasn't getting paid at all.
Oh, no.
I wasn't making and
Not even a hot dog and a handshake, huh?
no free food. No free food.
Wow.
I got a lot of handshakes after my matches, but that's because it was usually followed up with, I can't believe you just did that. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. But
I can't believe I just made you this much money and you're too poor to pay me.
I mean, my thing was that happened, and once that happened, I had a conversation with him, and it got blown out of proportion, and I was told that I was no longer on the brand and that the title would be stripped from me. So I never lost my championship, and I still refer to it as my championship because I never lost it. And with that being said, everything's in the past now. I don't hold any grudges. That's in the past. I don't care. Like, that's
you have moved on.
I have moved on, and I started back at the bottom, and I'm gonna work my way up again like I did the first time. So, if the promoter's watching, you know who you are. I'm not gonna sit here and talk crap about you. I'm not that type of person.
You're not gonna cry. You're not gonna cry in your milk. You're just gonna keep right on going, and the next belt is over the hill, right?
Exactly. I don't have any problem with you, and I don't have anything against you. But at the same time, I proved myself once on one brand. I'll prove myself on any other brand I go on.
You know what's kind of funny when that happens, though, CJ? And I'm going to tell you as a fan, I've seen this many, many times where, a wrestler wants something that he deserves. And a lot of times the fans and all the other wrestling buddies and that, they'll agree the wrestler probably deserves it. If you're speaking up, and you got things to back it up, excuse me, Mountain Dew burp, they will back you up. And what happens is they're going to see you go off and get popular somewhere else. And they're going to see the butts and seats disappear at their promotion. And they're going to realize, oh, crap, I'm going to have to put my tail between my legs and I'm going to have to make a phone call. And at that point, you've probably already got a belt at another place, or you've already got bookings at 5 or 6 other places that want to, run storylines with you and already have invested in you down the road. And there's just no room for that old, promoter anymore. And I've seen it happen, in my young, less than 2-year career as doing what I'm doing here. I've seen it happen a lot. So you're doing the right thing, brother, and I salute you for doing that.
I appreciate it, man. It's like I said, I don't hold grudges. I'm not going to talk crap. But my thing is that at the same time, when you have a wrestler And it doesn't even matter if it's me. If it's somebody else who is putting on those kind of matches and you're putting them on the main event of the card, and they're bringing in all these people, and all these people are paying money, and I have literally had fans come up to me and say, I paid money to see you tonight.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
How can you sit there and say, well, no, you ain't getting nothing, but then you'll go pay somebody else in front of me. So it's like, it's what it is. But I promise you, there are always titles on the other side. There's titles on every brand. And it's not even just about titles, man. It's about being a good wrestler, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the best wrestler I can be.
Be careful how you answer this, because this is Cade's cousin. Are you ready for your match against Cade? This is going to get back to him, I guarantee you.
The best way I can answer that would be, I don't think you can ever be ready for a match against Cade. You can just be like ready to do the match, not necessarily ready for the match against him, because Cade is so, versatile when it comes to stuff that he can throw. He's got so many different moves that he can hit you with. I'm not going to say I'm ready for the match against him, but I'm going to say that I'm ready for the match for him. And I'm going to go in there. I'm going to give it 110%. You're going to get the human highlight reel that night. It's going to be 110%. I'm going to be the best I can be. And if I lose the match, God forbid, it's not going to be because I didn't try. It's going to be, I'm going to be as ready as I can be. And the best way I can say that is I'm not just ready, I'm Evans ready. Like, we are going to go. It's going to be a good match.
If you guys are wondering what he's talking about, I'm going to block your face, CJ, for just a second here. So this is what they're talking about right here. August 16th at the Hoke County High School in Rayford, North Carolina. Ace Wrestling presents The One, and this is the match that's going to be on that card. So watch out for that.
It's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match in general, man.
It's gonna be a whole good night of wrestling, man. There's a lot of great wrestlers on that card, a lot of great wrestlers on that poster. Man, I'm telling you, we all got to get out to these local indie shows, and if you got one in your area, that you love to go to it. Help these guys. They're out there busting their tails, putting their lives on the line, believe it or not. And I just want to punch people in the face when they tell me that wrestling's fake. You have no idea how badly I feel when I look on Facebook or anywhere else, and you look in the comments and they're talking about fake fighting and fake this and fake that.
I'm gonna say this.
I just want to grab them and say, here, let me body slam you. I'm 450 pounds. If I was a wrestler, let me throw my weight on top of you and just tell me how fake that is.
Let me just put it this way. Now, this is just me. Take it or leave it. I don't really care. I'm going to tell you what I feel like is true. And I don't think wrestling's fake. I think people are fake. I think that.
Amen, brother.
You go on here and you say, yeah, it's easy to sit here and say wrestling's fake. But you know what? How many people get on social media or in front of other people and preach a bunch of stuff that they don't believe? Or how many people get out there and do stuff and support stuff that they don't really support, but they're doing it because other people like it? And I'm just going to say, I repeat what I said. Wrestling is not fake. People are fake. Wrestling makes dreams come true. Like, that'd be like saying, oh, well, the same people that say wrestling's fake are the same people who don't understand it. Because wrestling's not just wrestling. You have so many different aspects of other sports mixed into it. Because I had somebody tell me that wrestling wasn't a sport. I said, what do you call two athletic people fighting over championships?
I would love, not saying that you're not on his level, but I would love to see somebody walk up to Ricochet and say, you're not an athlete.
Right? It's like
they'd laugh you out of the building, dude.
I mean, and it's like I tell people all the time, I say, well, if wrestling's so fake, then how come, just look at the past history of stuff that's went on. Stone Cold broke his neck in a match, took a pile driver and broke his neck, but wrestling's fake.
Owen was just this far off, just that far, and got the top of his head and broke his neck. And it's a shame because Owen's done that move thousands of times. It was just one of them things where it was just one thing was a little bit off, and bam, it happened.
Yeah.
So you never know in a wrestling match, and it's true when I say it, and people look at me funny when I do say it. You're putting your lives in each other's hands when you go out there. You have to trust that the other person is going to catch you, or throw you right, or anything.
The way I'm going to reply to that once again is the people who call it fake. I want you to come talk to me personally about my knee injury that I sustained. I want you to also talk to me about how I almost broke my foot doing a suicide dive. I want you to talk to me about how when I was in a match with Angel Angels, I suffered a concussion, and talk to me about how fake it is when I almost fell off the top rope because I had a concussion.
Rodney said, thing is, they are all tremendously skilled and bust their butts night in and night out. And that is the honest to God's truth.
Amen.
Right there, brother. Amen.
You can't sit here and say something's fake when somebody puts their heart and soul in it. Like
now there are wrestlers out there that are untrained.
Yes.
That might do something stupid. Now that I will agree with.
I'm not saying that you can't.
But most trained wrestlers, when they get hurt, it's just something that happened.
Yep.
There are so many variables. Like you were talking about doing a suicide dive. There's so many variables in just doing a suicide dive. You would be shocked. The landing, what you're landing on, if that person is actually there to catch you.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many variables, and fans don't think about that. A lot of fans, especially fair weather fans, who will turn on, wrestling every once in a blue moon, or go to a show in their area every once in a blue moon. They don't understand that it takes a lot of variables just for one simple move. There's a lot of variables that go on in just any move, and you can get hurt on any move. A simple body slam, picking somebody up and tossing them over. If you don't get them on their back and you throw them down on their neck and shoulder, you can paralyze them. And that's just a simple body slam.
I mean, and it's not even just, moves even different. It doesn't even have to be something where you're getting lifted. I've seen people hurt themselves doing a move and not even be the other person. It could be the fact that they twisted wrong. And now they dislocated their knee. Okay.
No doubt.
All they did was move wrong, and that's not their fault. You can't be perfect all the time, which goes back to what I said earlier. Train your body. Keep your body in shape, because if you don't, your body's not going to hold up that kind of beat down. It's not going to sit there and say, let me get the hell beat out of me for 20 minutes every time you step in the ring, but you're not going to have any kind of repercussions from it. You go every single match I've ever done, I woke up the next day beaten up, bruised, tired, and sore as hell.
But you wake up and the first question you ask the person laying next to you is, what was the number of that truck that just ran me over?
Right. Like, did anybody catch the license plate? Maybe I need to go back to the replay of
that. There you go. Well, my man, all the questions have stopped. I loved having you on, but I've got about 15 minutes to get ready for Randy Wayne. I appreciate you stopping by. It was a blast. You always have an open invitation. I would love to get you on right after the one sometime in August, late August, man, and come back and tell me how that show was. I'm hoping to be there in person, but if not, I want the wrestlers to come back and tell me how it was and talk about all their matches and things like that. Man, it's always been a blast. Before you go, let everybody know who CJ Evans, the highlight reel, is, and tell them about that show.
I'm going to say one thing before I go into that. I want to tell you thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And I will definitely be down to come back on later on. I'm not even going to just say just after the 16th show. I'm more than happy to come on your show anytime you want me to come on, and we can catch up on different questions that people have later on. And, because I enjoyed being here and I appreciate you taking the time. Now,
no problem, man.
Fast forward to the actual show. On August 16th in Rayford, North Carolina at Hope County High School, Ace Wrestling will present The One. And the reason this show is called The One is because it will be the one show you need to come see when it comes to wrestling shows in that area at that date and time. It won't just have me on it that's a blessing in itself. It's going to have Cade Seidel. It's going to have Caleb Conley. It's going to have Blanco Loco and a bunch of other big name people that you need to come see that night. And the thing is that when you come see, sitting down for the first match of the night, you're going to see the human highlight reel, CJ Evans, versus the Pride, Cade Seidel. So make sure that you keep up with the Facebook on Ace and see the whole, everything they post about the new events coming up. And make sure you follow my page, follow the other wrestlers' pages, and keep up with everything going on. I do hope to see each and every one of you on August 16th. And once again, Scott, I want to tell you thank you for having me on #Truth.
Anytime, brother. While we head off into the sunset, I am going to give about 15 seconds for the poster to be back up here again. We'll see you next time, CJ.